Hi everybody, this is Dr. Mohammad Saim Khan. As you know by now, I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Commerce, Aligarh Muslim University, and we are in this e-commerce and digital marketing course. We already discussed like few lectures in the week one or the unit one. Now this is the last topic of this particular week, global and Indian e-commerce landscape. So this is what we'll be doing in discussing and doing in today's lecture. These will be the contents. Like, we'll obviously start with the introduction, then we'll discuss the global e-commerce landscape and global e-commerce infrastructure and technologies, and then moving forward we'll discuss digital payment systems and e-finance. Coming to now Indian e-commerce landscape, and what are the categories and how's the growth in Indian e-commerce. We'll also talk about government initiatives and also the regulatory frameworks. Also, we'll talk about emerging technologies in India and what are the challenges and opportunities, like every other topic, and global best practices versus Indian realities. And lastly, future outlook and emerging opportunities, and then we'll conclude. So this is the outline of this particular video. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into the introduction. The global and Indian e-commerce landscape has witnessed a profound transformation over the past 2 decades, fundamentally reshaping the nature of trade, business operations, and consumer behavior. E-commerce, which refers to the buying and selling of goods and services through digital platforms such as internet and the mobile applications, we all know that, has evolved from a limited experimental concept in the 1990s into a central pillar of the modern global economy, right? Today, it is not merely an alternative channel of distribution, but in many cases, the primary mode of conducting commercial transactions across both developed and emerging markets. At the global level, the growth of e-commerce has been driven by rapid technological advancements, including high-speed internet connectivity, widespread smartphone adoption, cloud computing, and secure digital payment systems. Leading economies such as the United States, China, and countries in Europe have established highly sophisticated e-commerce ecosystem supported by efficient logistics networks and strong regulatory frameworks. Additionally, the rise of marketplace platforms and the integration of artificial intelligence and data analytics have further enhanced the scale, efficiency, and personalization of online commerce. In contrast, India's e-commerce sector represents a rapidly developing yet highly dynamic market shaped by its unique socio-economic conditions. Although India entered the e-commerce space later than many developed nations, it has experienced remarkable growth due to increasing internet penetration, also affordable smartphones, and supportive government initiatives such as Digital India and the UPI, Unified Payments Interface. The Indian market is characterized by price sensitive consumers, obviously. Other than that, the continued relevance of cash on delivery and expanding adoption in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So, understanding the global and Indian e commerce landscape is essential for comprehending how digital transformation is redefining commerce and creating new opportunities in an increasingly interconnected world. So with that, let's discuss the global e-commerce landscape. We'll talk about the overview and trends. So the global e-commerce market has experienced exponential growth, right? With worldwide online retail sales reaching unprecedented levels. According to recent data, global e-commerce sales have surpassed $5 trillion, representing a substantial portion of overall retail trade. This growth trajectory shows no signs of slowing, with projections indicating continued double-digit annual growth rates in many markets throughout the coming decade. One of the most defining characteristics of the global e-commerce landscape is its remarkable diversity. The market encompasses businesses of all sizes, right? Like from small individual entrepreneurs running niche online stores to multinational corporations with sophisticated digital ecosystems spanning multiple countries. E-commerce extends far beyond simple product sales to include digital services, subscription models, marketplace platforms, social commerce, and continuously emerging innovative business models that adapt as technology evolves and consumer preferences shift. So, the major e commerce markets globally are concentrated in developed nations and rapidly developing economies. Uh, Remember that the United States remains the world's largest e-commerce market in absolute terms, with highly sophisticated infrastructure, a mature commerce base, comfortable, a consumer base comfortable with online shopping and well-developed logistics network. European markets, particularly Germany, France, and the the Kingdom have developed robust e-commerce ecosystems with strong consumer protection frameworks and comprehensive digital infrastructure supporting seamless transactions. However, the most dramatic growth in e-commerce is occurring in Asia Pacific, right? Particularly in China, Southeast Asia, and India. So China has emerged as the world's largest e-commerce market, right? Driven by pioneering companies like Alibaba and JD.com that created comprehensive ecosystems encompassing retail, logistics, payment systems, and digital advertising. The sheer scale of the Chinese market, combined with rapidly evolving technologies and innovative business models, has established it as a global leader in e-commerce innovation and operational excellence. Let's talk about the infrastructure and technologies. So, the foundation of global e-commerce rests on sophisticated technological infrastructure, right? High-speed internet connectivity, as sorry, you can see on your screen, high-speed internet connectivity, cloud computing, yes. Other than that, we have mobile technology, right, and secure digital payment systems. So they form the backbone enabling billions of transactions daily. The proliferation of smartphones and mobile devices has fundamentally altered the e-commerce landscape, with mobile commerce now accounting for the majority of online transactions in many developed markets. Consumers increasingly prefer shopping through mobile apps and optimized websites, particularly for impulse purchase, right? And product information browsing. AI and machine learning have become increasingly central, right? They have become increasingly central to global e-commerce operations. Sophisticated recommendation engines analyze consumer behavior to suggest products. Personalization technologies customize shopping experiences. Chatbots provide customer service, and predictive analytics help businesses manage inventory and forecast demand accurately. These technologies create competitive advantages and enhance customer experience, making shopping more convenient, personalized, and engaging. The global e commerce landscape is characterized by the rise of powerful marketplace platforms. Companies like Amazon, eBay, and regional players created environments where third party sellers reach global audiences. These platforms, what they did, they democratized market access, allowing small businesses global reach without establishing physical presence in multiple countries. However, this also concentrated significant market power in few hands. raising important questions about competition fairness, right? Supply chain and logistics represent critical component of global e-commerce infrastructure. The the ability to deliver products quickly and reliably is essential for customer satisfaction. Global logistics networks, including DHL, FedEx, and UPS, scaled operations dramatically for e commerce volumes. Last mile delivery has become a key competitive battleground, with companies experimenting with drones, autonomous vehicles, and network optimization techniques. This is about the infrastructure and technologies. Now let's move on to digital payment systems, like in scenario in global commerce. So evolution of digital payment systems has been crucial to global e-commerce growth. Right, early e-commerce depended on credit and debit cards, but the landscape diversified significantly. Today's global payment ecosystem includes digital wallets, cryptocurrency, bank transfers, uh, buy now, pay later services, and emerging technologies. Right. So this each payment method has different adoption rates in different regions, reflecting local preferences, regulatory environment, and technological maturity levels. Digital security and fraud prevention became increasingly sophisticated. As payment values and transaction volumes increased, so did the need for robust security measures. Encryption technologies, multi-factor authentication, tokenization, and advanced fraud detection systems protect consumers and merchants from unauthorized access and fraudulent transactions comprehensively. Okay, let's discuss now. Come to the Indian e-commerce landscape. So, India's e-commerce landscape presents a unique case study of rapid transformation within a developing economy context, right? While e-commerce adoption started later than in developed countries, the growth trajectory has been remarkably steep. From virtually non-existent in 2000, the Indian e-commerce market grew to represent a multi-billion dollar industry with penetration extending into smaller towns and rural areas. The Indian e-commerce market is characterized by several distinctive features. First, it remains highly price sensitive, right? This is, yeah, you can see, yes. It remains highly price sensitive, with discounts and deals playing crucial role in driving consumer purchases. Major events like Amazon's Prime Day and Flipkart's Big Billion Days became significant shopping occasions, with consumers deferring purchases anticipating deep discounts. This pricing focus reflects India's broader economic context, where price remains significant for many consumers. Right. Second, the market is extremely competitive and fragmented, right? So there is intense competition. Major players include Flipkart, Amazon India, Myntra, Ajio, Snapdeal, and numerous regional platforms. This competitive intensity drove innovation and kept prices low, but created financial challenges for many players. Intense competition led to significant consolidation, with smaller players absorbed by larger ones over time. Third, the market shows rapid urbanization of e-commerce adoption, with increasing penetration into smaller towns, okay, expanding rapidly into tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Top 10 metros historically accounted for most e-commerce purchases, but growth accelerated in tier 2 and tier 3 cities as well. So this geographical expansion was driven by improving internet connectivity, increasing smartphone penetration, and growing disposable incomes across the country. That again is a reason. Okay, let's discuss the categories and the growth in Indian e-commerce. So product categories dominating Indian e-commerce tell important stories about evolving consumer priorities and market maturity. Electronics and mobile phones historically represented the largest sector. Yes, this one is the largest sector, right? Uh, Reflecting consumer comfort buying high ticket items online. Apparel and fashion became increasingly significant with companies like Myntra establishing strong positions through targeted marketing and category expertise. The grocery and FMCG category, initially slow to develop, recently exploded, particularly after the pandemic accelerated digital adoption. The marketplace model dominates Indian e-commerce with Flipkart and Amazon operating as marketplaces rather than pure retailers. This model allows platforms to offer vast assortment without maintaining extensive inventory, instead relying on third-party sellers supplying products. The marketplace model proved highly scalable for the Indian market. Yes, this one, allowing rapid category expansion and geographic reach with minimal inventory capital investment. Consumer behavior in Indian e-commerce presents unique characteristics compared to global markets. Cash on delivery remains a popular payment method despite significant digital payment growth. People in India, they want COD. So this preference reflects limited historical credit card penetration and consumer comfort verifying products before payment. However, digital payment adoption increased significantly, obviously, accelerated by government initiatives, right, and growth of digital wallets and UPI systems. Return rates in Indian e-commerce, particularly for apparel, tend to be significantly higher than global standards, reflecting consumer practices of ordering multiple sizes and returning unwanted items. This high return rate has significant implications for logistics and operational efficiency, making reverse logistics management crucial for e-commerce, which is like when something is being returned, and that has played a very crucial role in Indian e-commerce growth. Okay, now let's discuss the government initiatives. The Indian government played a significant role in shaping the e-commerce landscape through strategic initiatives and policies. Right? Like we have the Digital India, we talked about that in previous slides. So this Digital India launched in 2015 aimed to create digital infrastructure and promote digital literacy across the nation. This initiative created essential conditions for e-commerce growth by improving internet connectivity in both urban and rural areas and advancing digital payment infrastructure. The Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, yes, expanded financial inclusion by opening bank accounts for previously unbanked populations. The government's, push for digital payments through AEPS and the revolutionary UPI. Yes, UPI system created a robust digital payment ecosystem. So these initiatives significantly reduced friction in digital commerce and substantially expanded the addressable market for e-commerce platforms. However, the regulatory environment became increasingly complex. FDI policies restricting investment in e-commerce marketplaces, along with regulations on data localization and cyber security, reflected government efforts to balance promoting e-commerce growth with protecting domestic industries and ensuring data security. A lot of discussions has been going on with respect to data security. We are just reading it in newspapers and going through that, etc. Anyhow, now let's talk about the emerging technologies shaping Indian e-commerce. So the Indian e-commerce landscape is increasingly shaped by emerging technologies adapted to the Indian context. Mobile first approaches dominate, obviously, as we have already discussed that majority of the people they are buying anything via their mobile phone. They are booking their tickets, buying groceries, buying apparels, buying smartphones or any other gadgets or anything. Mobile first approach is there. So, mobile first approaches dominate, recognizing that many consumers' primary internet access is through mobile phones rather than computers. So, mobile apps became essential for e-commerce businesses with company generating significant transaction volumes through applications. Artificial intelligence and data analytics are deployed to address challenges unique to the Indian market. Recommendation engines account for regional preferences, uh, diverse language needs, and varying consumption pattern. Okay. Additionally, we also have this voice commerce. So, voice commerce leveraging India's multilingual environment represents a critical frontier for reaching less digitally literate consumers and expanding market reach. What else? Well, we have the blockchain technology. The blockchain technology is explored for supply chain transparency, particularly for luxury goods and pharmaceuticals. The Indian spices market explores blockchain to establish provenance and combat adulteration. Right? So, mobile applications, AI, and data analytics for what? For personalized experiences. So all these things are shaping Indian e-commerce, we can say right now. Okay, uh, next, the challenges and opportunities. Let's discuss them also. So the Indian e-commerce market faces significant structural challenges despite impressive growth. Look, logistics uh, and supply chain infrastructure, while improving, uh, remains fragmented compared to developed markets. Consumer trust remains a concern, though improving steadily, right? Data privacy and security present ongoing challenges as regulatory frameworks evolve. However, these challenges represent enormous opportunities. The vast and growing middle class represents an enormous untapped market. Current e-commerce penetration remains far below developed countries. Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities represent major expansion opportunities as infrastructure improves. The B2B e-commerce segment, remaining relatively underdeveloped, represents substantial opportunity. Digital marketplaces connecting small manufacturers with retailers could significantly improve supply chain efficiency and create tremendous value for all participants. So, these are the few challenges and how opportunities are being, playing out for us. Okay, let's do a small comparison. So, understanding differences between global best practices and Indian market context is essential for success. While global e-commerce moved towards subscription models and premium experiences, the Indian market remains driven by deep discounting and seasonal sale events. As we have discussed earlier, the majority of population works this way only. They're buying either on some events or festivals. Global markets largely resolve payment infrastructure challenges while India continues experiencing evolving digital payment adoption patterns. Global leaders invested heavily in proprietary logistics network, a model Indian companies increasingly adopt at significant capital cost. Customer service approaches differ substantially. Global e-commerce emphasizes self-service and automation, while Indian consumers often expect personalized customer service interactions with human representatives. Okay, yeah. Let's talk about the future outlook and emerging opportunities. The future of Indian e-commerce appears poised for continuous rapid growth, driven by increasing internet penetration, rising disposable incomes, as we had discussed earlier, and shifts in consumer preferences toward digital channels. Several emerging areas present significant opportunities, right? Social commerce, where shopping happens through social media platforms, is emerging significantly in India. Instagram and Facebook shops are becoming important commerce venues. Live streaming commerce involving real time demonstrations and shopping through live streams gained significant traction, particularly for fashion and cosmetics region, fashion and cosmetics categories. Emerging payment innovations, including cryptocurrency adoption and blockchain based systems, represent future frontiers for Indian e commerce. Digital payment systems continue evolving to serve the unique needs of Indian consumers and businesses. Omni-channel strategies integrating online and offline retail experiences represent another emerging opportunity as businesses seek to provide seamless customer experiences across touch points and channels. So with that, let's come to the conclusion. So the global and Indian e-commerce landscape clearly demonstrates how digital transformation has revolutionized the way businesses operate and consumers engage in commerce. Globally, e-commerce has evolved into a highly advanced and integrated ecosystem supported by strong technological infrastructure, efficient logistics network, and diverse digital payment systems. It has moved beyond being just an alternative sales channel to becoming a dominant force in retail and service delivery. The integration of AI, big data analytics, and personalized customer experiences has further enhanced efficiency and competitiveness, making global e commerce highly dynamic and innovation driven. In comparison, India's e commerce sector represents a rapidly growing and evolving market shaped by its unique socio economic conditions. Despite a relatively late start, India has witnessed exponential growth due to increasing internet penetration, affordable smartphones, and supportive government initiatives such as Digital India and UPI based payment systems. The Indian market is characterized by high price sensitivity, the continued relevance of cash on delivery, and strong growth in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. These features distinguish it from more mature global markets and required businesses to adopt localized strategies. At the same time, India faces several structural challenges, including fragmented logistics infrastructure, regulatory complexities, and concerns related to data privacy and consumer trust. However, these challenges also present opportunities for innovation, investment, and policy deployment. The expansion of digital payments, improvements in supply chain systems, and the rise of new models such as social commerce and omni-channel retail are expected to drive future growth. Furthermore, the comparison between global best practices and Indian realities highlights the importance of contextual adaptation. While global market emphasizes automation, premium services, and subscription-based models, the Indian market prioritized affordability, accessibility, and trust-building measures. Businesses that successfully balance global innovation with local understanding are more likely to succeed. In conclusion, both global and Indian e-commerce landscapes are integral to the future of commerce, each contributing unique strengths and lessons. As technology continues to evolve and digital adoption increases, e-commerce will play an even more critical role in economic development, entrepreneurship, and consumer empowerment. Understanding these dynamics is essential for students, professionals. In conclusion, both global and Indian commerce landscapes are integral to the future of commerce, each contributing unique strengths and lessons. As technology continues to evolve and digital adoption increases, e-commerce will play an even more critical role in economic development, entrepreneurship, and consumer empowerment. Understanding these dynamics is essential for students, professionals, and businesses aiming to thrive in an increasingly digital and interconnected world. Thank you. With that, I take your leave. And this week one, all the five topics are done, and we'll meet in the next video. Take care and have a nice day.